Hi, I'm Lawrie Minson from Tamworth in Australia, and this is a new demo video of my M7 multi-effects pedal with tap tempo. It's pretty exciting. So I'm going to talk you through the layout on the board first of all, and then we'll do a little bit of demoing. Okay, so your guitar plugs in here. This switch is tuner mute. Light turns yellow. Check my tuning. Bit flat. Flick the switch, light will go red, and then we're on. The first effect in the chain is a compressor. The adjustments for the amount of compression and the output level are set internally with trim pots. So you've just got an on-off switch here, and it's a very nice sounding compressor. Level will come up a little bit. Well, that's how I've got it set anyway, and a little bit of EQ pushes the mids a little bit. Then that's called a taipan. Then the first of the overdrives, this is a preamp drive called a dingo, and it's a sort of a clean drive down around here. As you wind it up, you'll get a little bit more crunch. Very nice. The next one is a King Brown, and it's an output saturator, so it's a little bit beefier sounding. These two work very well together. I can drive the King Brown with the dingo. Now you'll notice the levels come up, so I've got a master boost cut at the back end here. If I flick that on, it just brings the levels back under control. So that's the two overdrives. You can use one or the other or both. Next in line is a tremolo. And this is a beautiful sounding tremolo called a Wallaby. Just got a speed control on the outside. The output and the blend of the effect are set with trim pots internally. Alright, now this is the new edition. It's tap tempo, and the circuit for this I purchased from Uwe Kammerich from Germany, and I'll put his details up here because it's a great little circuit, small little board that fits in there. I've got an on-off switch for the delay, and then I've got tap tempo here. So as you see, if I tap slowly, this tells me my delay time. That'll be a fairly slow delay time. Here's a mix, and here's feedback, so if I wind the feedback up, I'll get more repeats. Wind that down a bit. Okay, so the time pot here will override the tap tempo, so as soon as I move it, it overrides the tap tempo, and then if I tap tempo back in there, that will override the time pot. So they work very well together. Okay, that's called a gecko. Now, I've got a reverb here called a bunyip. That's a lovely sounding reverb. This is just a mix control for the effect. If I wind that up, maximum amount of reverb. I usually run it somewhere about there. Sounds very nice. Okay, and now at the back end here I've got a master boost cut. When it's at about 12 o'clock, it's about unity gain. So if I want to run it as a clean boost, somewhere up there will work quite well. If I've got the overdrives cranking, I might have them wound up pretty hot, the level will come up a lot, so I'll use it as a cut, bring that back under control. Okay, from the front of the chain I've got a compressor. This is the guitar with no effects. Here's the compressor. A little bit of a bump in gain. I have it set for mild compression, but there's adjustments internally if you want to add a bit more compression, a little bit more output level. It does have a little bump in the mids, that's quite normal. So there's just an on-off switch for that one. Next I've got two overdrives. There's a preamp style drive, which is called a dingo, which will range from just a little bit of crunch here, again, no effects. A little bit of a bump in level. just the tiniest little bit of grit. Now as you wind the gain up, so it starts to break in a very nice way. Now as you wind the gain a little bit further up, the volume will come up. So if it's starting to get too loud, I've got a little master boost cut at the back end of the chain here. So I can just switch that on and bring the level back to a reasonable level. Now I'll wind the dingo flat out. This is as hard as it goes. The next effect is called a King Brown. And King Brown in Australia is a snake with a lot of bite. This is a big saturator, big overdrive. Kind of tougher sounding, and again you've got a gain control here. The output trimmers for both the Dingo and the King Brown are set internally. So you hear it's just a bit meatier, and then of course you can drive it with the old Dingo. A little bit more gain from the Dingo. Lovely. Getting a bit loud, back it off here. Now just to give you an idea of how hard it'll go, I'll just run both of these completely flat out. Here it's really starting to compress. If you want a little bit more push, you can still add the compressor, which will just push those a little bit more. Next is a tremolo. It's a very nice sounding tremolo, originally invented by an Australian chap and published in Electronics Australia back in the 60s. I've worked on this circuit a little, and it's just a beautiful sounding tremolo. So here again, no effects. There's internal adjustments for the blend of the effect and the output level, and I've just got a speed control on the outside. And it's really smooth speed control. I'll go from very slow, wind him up, to very quick. So that's called a wallaby, and a wallaby is a marsupial in Australia that bounces up and down. So it's kind of the idea behind the name. Now, the latest addition to the M7 is tap tempo. This is only fairly recent. So what I've got is a switch to turn my delay on and off. I've got a mix control. I'll wind it up so you can hear the delay pretty well. Okay. Now there's a actual pot that will control the delay time, but then the tap tempo is right next to it. And they override each other. So if you're using the tap, it'll override the pot. Then if you adjust the pot, it'll override the tap tempo. So they both work really well together, and then you've just got a feedback control as well, which will adjust the amount of repeats. If I wind that fully up, there's lots and lots of repeats there. That effect is called a gecko, because it sounds like echo. Pretty straight ahead. But a great sounding delay, and really, really great having the tap tempo facility there now. Okay, so I've just got a couple more things to go here. I'll turn that delay off for a sec, so I've got nothing else on at the moment. Right up the back end of the chain, and on the top left here, this blue button, is a reverb, and it's called a bunyip. In Australia, a bunyip is a sort of a mythical creature, a bit ethereal. Anyway, this one's on a pull switch because I tend to just leave it on most of the time. If you want to take it out of circuit, just pull the knob up. Otherwise, you can just wind it off. It's a mix control. So nothing there. Bring it in. I usually run it somewhere here. very nice sounding reverb. If you're into surf guitar, you can just wind it fully out. Like I say, I usually run it somewhere up around here, but it's very nice sounding reverb. And then just got the go-under at the back end, which is your master boost or cut. So if I'm in normal playing mode, I might have the compressor on, and I'm playing away, playing a bit of rhythm, and I want to go for a solo. Just hit the button here. Really great little booster there. One thing I've had happen at gigs sometimes is the knob gets bumped and suddenly you've got no sound. That can not happen with this pedal. I've got my overdrives on here and got the wound completely off, and as you'll hear, still got some sound. It's a little design thing that I thought about because in the middle of a gig you don't want to be running around trying to figure out why you've got no sound and just to find out that some knob there has just been bumped. So that's the M7 with tap tempo delay. Thanks very much for checking out the video. If you're interested in purchasing one of these little babies, I've got my email address on the screen here. Just get in touch and we'll see what we can do. Alright, thank you. That's a crank.